All right, guys. So from time to time, I like to do a nice little recap. I was looking at what I was doing August 6th of 2020. And August 6th, I'm sorry, March, forgive me, August, Lord. March 6th of 2020. So on this day, March 6th, 2020, um, I was in Burbank, California. And I tell this story all the time, but my picture came up and it gets me a little sentimental. And I like to do the pictures because we tend to forget. And when we tend to forget, what we tend to do is not give God the proper amount of praise that he deserves. Okay. So the reason I remember is so that when I go into my prayer closet and I seek God, whether that be a tear, whether that be a moment, whether that be gratitude, I can give him the proper amount of praise. And maybe my heart can use that praise. So it's a much different concept because I used to go through life and just kind of boom, 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 move to this thing, that thing, this thing, that thing, and then you wouldn't be giving God enough gratitude, right? So I did. I met Dr. Mark McHale, and I realized on March 6th because I was in town because my son was going to go to AMDA, American Dramatic Arts Academy. He had gotten a scholarship. My daughter had gotten a scholarship, and that happened in 2017, right after I hurt myself. And so the reason it was memorable was I was actually going in. Um, it was with a Christian group, and we were over. It was the day that we left in LA from the house, and there was a fire outside that broke out at about 10 o'clock while we were on the other side of town. We were over by the beach, and we stayed there. It was like a Thursday. I'll never forget this. And after we stayed there, we come back home, and a lot of the areas were boarded off, and people were sent away from their homes, right? And so I'm sitting there looking at the orange tape, and I'm realizing how quickly things can happen. So I get in my prayer closet, I start praying. I said, Lord, if you could just send some rain, because it was raining over by the beach, but over in the valley, there was no rain. And then all of a sudden I started hearing this rain shower come, and it did just enough to slow down the fire, which is what we needed, right? Because you had helicopters dumping the flame retardant materials and all that stuff in red. And it was just a crazy, crazy, crazy scene. I looked at my window. You could see where the birds had flown into the window. They looked like angels. The imprint looked like angels, right? Wings and everything. And I was just like, God, this is crazy, and I'm thinking Armageddon. Fast forward 3 years later, now I'm grateful because this is the year that I had gone through that ruptured Achilles tendon. And so I really want you to understand that when I say health and wellness is the most important thing, I want you to understand the context, why this brother does this every day, right? Remember, I've healed, but you don't want to take it for granted because we got those tendons inside our body. We got all those things going on. Why is this important that we discovered this? Because to be frank with you, that was 2 years ago, right? So it's like God putting something else in me. Remember, Justin's only 6. So because he's only 6, that was during the time that I hurt myself, right? So every time I look at my little boy, I see a miracle. I see a miracle that I was able to actually really drive to go get him down in Jonesboro, Arkansas. But then, right after March 6th, after I gave that, I actually wrote a letter to my doctor, and I put it in while I was there with my son at AMDA in 2020. So it was really 3 years before, right? So I love my threes. And I always feel like God is trying to give us a message in 3, right? And so I go over, I get a Starbucks gift card, $50. I put it in the card, and I put a nice little message in there and a picture of Justin because I wanted my doctor to know, hey, listen, thank you for praying with me. Thank you for having the faith. Thank you for being excellent in what you do. Thank you for praying over your hands every day. I just want you to understand how important this prayer is, this prayer walk is. And I know you may see yourself as unimportant. You may think, man, God doesn't hear me. Hallelujah. I don't care what it is you think, but I want you to understand, yes, he does. And so I take that picture just in case a future me has lost his way just a little bit, has lost his understanding just a little bit, has lost the grace of God, has stepped outside of the grace of God just a little bit. I take the pictures so that I can remind myself, boy, you better get yourself back on track. And you better quit playing with God, because he's been more than gracious to you and your family. So your gratitude needs to be on another level, right? And so I'm just grateful, because really that was a prelude to 3 weeks later, everything being shut down. Everything that I tell you when I say, hey, that was March 6th, I think it was like the 7th we left, if I'm not mistaken. And we were on the highway. And about midway through, you have to realize we had spent so much time in LA, we were more used to Burbank than we were Las Vegas. So we were more comfortable in Burbank, in California, than we were in Las Vegas. We had just moved to Las Vegas. We didn't know anyone in Las Vegas. It was all brand new. And as we're on the road, my wife calls me back and she's like, hey, God showed me something. I said, what's that? She said, we're going to be safe in Vegas. I said, safe in Vegas? Wow, you sure this is God? That's why I want you to stop thinking that you know what direction God's going to take you in. I'm not here to be some guy that says, you know what, man, I know everything, and boy, God has always done it just like I wanted him to, and he's come through every single time. No, he never does it. That's the truth. He never does it just like I wanted to. He honestly does it better than I wanted him to. He honestly takes me through a few things just to teach me a few things so I can see a few things about myself. That's honestly what he does. And so at 31, I decided now 21 years ago that I was going to change my healthy habits. Didn't do it good enough, so by the time I turned 38, I was pretty sick. And so now when I say, hey, listen, I'm in much better health, I'm giving you the best that I got. I'm like, baby, let me tell you, woo, you want a piece of this, right? My man, my woman, you want a piece of what God is giving. And so with much gratitude, I thank him for telling me to get off my duff, to not sit around in Las Vegas and do nothing, because 4 years ago, to be frank, I was new to the city. I'd only been here a year. And I always think, what if I would have done the natural thing, which is be comfortable and be safe? This is a warning to you. Every time you think that you're safe or that you're comfortable, something is on its way. That's just how it works. That's life. But if you can prepare, if you can listen, if you can hear, Lord, that you would give us ears to hear you where you are. I never really started this group with the idea that, hey, you had to follow me or do anything. Actually, I didn't start as the expert, to be real with you. I came into this group because I was called into this. God was calling me to do something special. I think some people take it wrong. They think, oh, he made that logo because he wants to promote himself. There's no reason for me to promote myself. I don't really care. I really don't. I'm not that person. Nor am I the person that has to be seen. I spent most of my years promoting my wife, to be frank with you. That's the truth. So it's not even my way. I may have those gifts, but I'd rather, live my life. So when it comes to this health and wellness thing, it's just common sense, because I wanted to give you what's blessed my life more than anything, right? Not money, health. Not money, health. When I was in the doctor's office and I had gastrointestinal issues, trust me, and he was getting ready to do surgery to open up my soft tissue, to take off the scar tissue around the soft tissue from acid reflux. The last thing I wanted to do was talk about what new car I was going to get. That was the last thing I wanted to do. All I asked God was why. And when I realized I could reverse it and I could do something about it, that's when I got serious about my health and wellness. And so I started going out and I started eating my oily fish and going to the nicest place to get that stuff. And that's when I realized a very harsh truth about our American system. Anything that is worthwhile, you almost have to be wealthy in order to do. And so when I found Numi, I said, wow, this is just $50 a piece or $100 a month. And a lot of people struggle with that. But I bet you probably stopped off at McDonald's a couple of times throughout the month and probably shouldn't have, and you just don't make room for it. So I would say to you, what I know that now it does for my body, there's no way I could walk away from this, ever. But that's me. And that's the Hydrostat Nano, right? It's done wonderful things for my body. It's done amazing things for me. I don't have any inflammation. Seriously, right? And at 52, that's pretty good. But then I said, you know what? Let's go one step further. And Dr. Stan, and there's other companies out there. There's things you can find. I like to compare like a Juice Plus. That's what Ina uses over at Angels of Las Vegas. Does not come close financially to what this does. Reason being, everything within Juice Plus costs $50, all of it. It doesn't matter, maybe a little more, really. Least expensive I found was like $49, something like that. Took the stuff and it was okay. Didn't do anything incredible in my life. Not to say that it wouldn't if you take multiple products, but by the time you take $200 worth of products, how many of you can do that again next month? Unless you're going to fast. Unless you're going to, change up your grocery budget and get you some beans, right? So you can just do beans and Juice Plus for the next 6 months. Sure, that could work. But I didn't want to do anything super extreme. I constantly look at things like what's best for the common man. What could I have done in my struggle? What could I have done even, you guys might not want to hear this, but what could I have done even homeless? And honestly, just sitting there listening to Tim say, look at me. I was homeless is what moved me with Live Good. Now I come up on a year in Live Good, and I'm grateful for having met these people, because really it's about stewardship. It's not about loyalties to this company, that company. It's about financial stewardship. And now I've made it really such that any one of you can maintain your health like a wealthy person. The question is, my worry is, do you realize how important that health is? Let me give you some examples of what I know financially, why health really, really, really matters. Number one, you really do need to get you some life insurance if you haven't gotten any life insurance up until now. If you're 52 and you just now started working on getting life insurance, probably you have some pre-existing conditions of some type, whether that be high blood pressure that you fight with, and even if it maintains it or you maintain it through the medication, they still consider that a little high risk. They just do, right? Maybe it's maybe you are diabetic, right? And you have type 2 or whatever it may be. It's going to cost you more. And so what I'm really saying to you is everything that you want to do will cost you more. So why don't I come up with a way to help you absorb some of those costs? But wow, wouldn't that be amazing if you could earn a little bit of money from it as you absorb those costs, right? And that's all that Live Good and Numi do for us, is they give us that opportunity to save our overall. Now let's talk about that in the cost of your real budget, because I know many of you probably think of it like, I don't have the finances right now. Let me tell you something. You're never going to have the finances thinking like that. It's just never going to happen, right? So when it comes to what it costs you in medical bills or what it costs you in medications, you need to factor that into whether you can afford to do this or whether you can afford to do this. And I promise you, these two are way cheaper than it will cost you for the medicines to support the rest of your life. And I put it in the room, I'm talking about it. Mama's dementia, daddy's cancer. This answered a multitude of problems in the Roberts household. I don't share with you what we go through. But yeah, we go to the doctor and they give us reports, and all the reports aren't always good. Not that there's anything bad going on, but I'm just saying, if you need to lose weight, they let you know, just like anyone else. And so at the end of the day, this gives me that support. So I'm thinking for you, I'm thinking beyond you, and I'm thinking with a rationale. And then I'm going to be honest with you. For those of you who have anger issues, for those of you who are dealing with chemical imbalances, medical imbalances, vitamin deficiency, all of those things, and you don't even realize it, which 95% of us are vitamin deficient. 95%. That's a crazy, crazy number. 95% are vitamin deficient. And so you could really walk into my office with a bad attitude and not realize you have a vitamin B deficiency. You don't have enough magnesium in your body. I look at one thing that says if a man ate just ashwagandha for 2 months, he would be like this. He would be through the roof every single day, right? He wouldn't have any problems. They said even his countenance would look different, right? Now, I'm not saying that to say, hey, go that extreme, but that's what many of us are doing. We're going extreme. I wanted something that would be natural, that would be daily. I don't talk about the skin or any of that stuff as much because I have a common sense rule. It goes, if your skin is your largest organ, when your skin looks bad, it's a way of telling your body, hey, something ain't going right with the liver. You heard me. Something ain't going right with the liver. So I would much rather have my oils and things like that come out of my body. I'm talking olive oil and all those precious great things that you get and you put on the Cindy Crawford and everybody's looking great. How about being great inside your body? That's all this is. I don't want to hound you. I'm not your mom. I'm not your dad. I'm just pre-existing condition Brian. That's all I am, right? But knowing what I do know about finance, I know that it will affect you overall and it will affect your family's legacy. What you can afford in a premium payment and insurance because, oh, maybe you have way too many pre-existing conditions that show up. It's going to end up costing you more money in the long run and therefore cost your family a portion of their legacy. So what we're teaching is honestly, earn the money and then be able to secure your family's legacy through insurance. Ta-da! Yep, through insurance, believe it or not, that's what wealthy people do. You can get $1 million policy, $2 million policy. The family's eating really, really good when you pass away. But give them something. Give them grace while you're here. I don't want to see you suffer. I could really go into detail, but I don't want to. But I don't want to see you suffer. I love you to life. And if I really do love you, then I'm going to give you the best. And that's what I've been doing. I've been giving you the absolute best. If I don't suggest something, it's because it's not good. I don't feel it is good for me, so therefore it's not good for you. But the beauty of this is, guys, believe it or not, whether you did this or didn't do this, all of these things have enhanced my health. They've enhanced it. They've enhanced my ability to move and do the things that I do. And I was moving good before, right? But even better now. And I'm grateful for Dr. Stan. I'm grateful for the entire group of people that I met through faith. A conscientious choice to have faith. And I want some of you to start moving in your faith. That's it. I didn't come to be the expert and the all-knowing Brian. I don't know everything. Trust me, I realize it, right? But you got to bring something to the table. That's what the team of Diamond VIP is. It's yours if you want it. It's a community if you want it. I noticed Raphael used the logo. Stefan has used the logo. You're all welcome to use it. It's not something that I'm going to be marketing as me. I'm not the up-and-coming anything. That's not the point. It's the fact that we're leaning on one another. We're depending. And I'm not talking just financially, in ideas. Ideas, man. This right here God gave you is your most valuable tool. And I heard it said that, sometimes one person may be up, the next person may be down. That's how life works, right? So over the next 20 years, I don't know, it might be your turn next. And I'm okay with it. But be willing to give the best that you can. God bless. That's all I got to say. God bless. There's so many more people that you can meet that can open up the windows of heaven in your life. God bless you all. Love you to life. Stay healthy. Be healthy. Live healthy. Get consistent. I'm sitting there looking at Linda Gurdon. She's buying up everything and Live Good. Wise choice, but use it. God bless.